And welcome to the Class Breakfast News. The news is coming to you live on Class 91.3 FM here in Accra, Ho FM 92.5 in the Volta region, Dagban FM 102.5 in Tamale, Radio War 92.20 in the Upper West region, Radio Power 96 in Spain, and ClassFMOnline.com. Coming up in the bulletin, floating commercial drivers in Accra increase transport fares.
Quite difficult now because it's not all the drivers that are only under DPRT. There are also some that don't even fall under any of the union. They are floating drivers. But still, we are working on it, and the police are also assisting us.
President Mahama signs controversial tribunals bill, Ghana Cocoa bill, and 8 others into law. Appointment committee to vet 2 ministerial nominees and 3 Supreme Court justices today. Police in the Ashanti region intercept 1,991 vehicles for using illegal strobe light and sirens. In African news, Uganda President's son Muhoozi announces 2031 presidential bid.
This is the Class Breakfast News.
My name is Agyemang Prempeh. Let's settle for the details. No, our very first story. The Ghana Private Road Transport Union (GPRTU) has blamed the current unapproved fares charged by some commercial operators in Accra on drivers operating outside recognized transport unions. There are complaints from some commuters who say they are being made to pay more than the usual fares, despite the suspension of a proposed 30% increase in transport fares. Speaking to Class News, the Deputy Communications Director for GPRTU, Samuel Amoa, said the union has not issued any directive authorizing a fare increase. He said GPRTU drivers who are found charging unapproved fares are being directed to reverse the charges and could face sanctions.
There has never been any official communique, but we have started receiving complaints from some of our passengers about some drivers that are charging unapproved fares. Actually, we have not increased transport fares as we used to state, and that after our engagement with the transport ministry, we all agreed that we wait till this end of this month, that is the end of month of August, before we check on where the fuel price will get to before we also know what to do. But then when the complaints started coming, we also did follow up to check on to see if where the problem is actually coming from. We find out that some of the drivers are not with any of the unions, but those that are with us, we do send a signal to them for them to reverse, that fare that they are taking from passengers. Quite difficult now because, it's not all the drivers that are falling under DPRT. There are also some that don't even fall under any of the unions. They are floating drivers. But still, we are still working on it. And the police are also assisting us on those that don't belong to any of the unions.
You had Samuel Amoa, who is the Deputy Communications Director for the Ghana Private Road Transport Union (GPRTU). Let's move to the Ashanti region, as the Regional Motor Traffic and Transport Directorate of the Ghana Police Service has intercepted 1,991 vehicles in the Kumasi metropolis in a crackdown on the illegal use of strobe lights, sirens, and unauthorized horns. The enforcement exercise, which began on July 3, has so far identified 1,830 vehicles fitted with illegal strobe lights, while 97 were cited for the unauthorized use of sirens. The Ashanti Regional MTTD Commander Superintendent Evans Kwame Buedi, disclosing this at a press briefing in Kumasi, said the police have moved from issuing warnings to prosecuting offenders, with a repeat offender already convicted and sentenced to 3 months in prison. Now, President John Dramani Mahama has signed the Tribunals Bill 2026, the Ghana Cocoa Board Bill 2026, and 8 other bills into law. The two laws have been among the most controversial pieces of legislation passed by Parliament in recent weeks. The Tribunals Act seeks to establish a new framework for the creation and operation of tribunals to complement Ghana's controversial and Ghana's conventional court system and help address case backlogs. The legislation has forced criticism from the minority and other stakeholders who have raised concerns about possible political interference, the composition of the tribunals, and potential implications for judicial independence. The Ghana Cocoa Board Bill, meanwhile, seeks to reform the cocoa sector by strengthening the protection of cocoa farms, promoting local processing, and improving farmers' share of cocoa revenues. It has also attracted criticism over provisions governing the protection and use of cocoa farms. The Appointments Committee will today, Thursday, August 27, 2026, vet 2 ministerial nominees and 3 Supreme Court Justice nominees. The exercise was earlier scheduled for Tuesday, August 25 to Wednesday, August 26, 2026. This followed the referral by the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Babin, taxing the committee. The referral was made during Parliament's emergency sitting on Monday, August 25, following the Speaker's communication of the President's nominations to the House. The 2 ministerial nominees by the President are Dr. Zaneto Agyemang named to head the Ministry of Environment, Science and Technology, and Mahama Ayariga nominated as Minister for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs. Now, development economist Dr. Hayford Ayariga has called on the government to focus more on policies that directly improve the living conditions of Ghanaians, particularly those in the agriculture sector. His comments follow a World Bank report indicating that about 56% of Ghanaians are living in poverty. Speaking to Class News, Dr. Ayariga said he was not surprised by the findings, arguing that the country's macroeconomic gains have yet to translate into improved living conditions for many citizens. He says rising costs of electricity, fuel, rent, and transportation continue to put pressure on households, particularly those in rural communities. We'll bring you that sound shortly, but let's move to some other stories. And the Accra High Court has rejected a request by lawyers to adjourn the trial of Hanan Abdul Wahab until October 19, pending a stay of proceedings application before the Court of Appeal. The court held that filing a stay application does not automatically halt proceedings at the trial court. Our court correspondent Mami Ababru reports.
The Accra High Court hearing the case involving Hanan Abdul Wahab Alidiba and his wife Faiza Seidu Wuni has rejected the request to adjourn proceedings until October 19, 2026, pending the determination of a stay of proceedings application before the Court of Appeal. The court held that the mere filing of an application for stay of proceedings does not automatically halt proceedings at the trial court. Deputy Attorney General Dr. Justice Shremsai opposed the long adjournment request, arguing that counsel for the first accused had earlier indicated that he would not be available during the legal vacation and will be out of the jurisdiction. The Deputy Attorney General further pointed to the medical report submitted by counsel, noting that it indicated it was attending scheduled outpatient appointments. The court, however, said the earlier indication that counsel would not be available did not prevent him from subsequently falling ill. The court accepted the medical report dated August 17, 2026, and noted that this was the first time counsel for both first and second accused had sought an adjournment on health grounds. The trial judge, Justice Francis Achibonga, said there was no basis to conclude that the lawyers intended to use their health as a means of delaying the trial. The court subsequently granted an adjournment to accommodate the period during which the lawyers had been medically excused from work. However, it rejected the request to postpone the case beyond October 19 on the basis of the pending of stay of proceedings at the Court of Appeal. The court stressed that granting such a request would effectively amount to staying proceedings at the High Court without a legal basis. The case has therefore been adjourned to September 29 and 30, 2026 at 9:30 a.m. for hearing.
So that was a report by our court correspondent Mami Ababru. President John Mahama says the government has allocated 1 billion Ghana cedis to the Boko Revitalization Fund with improved security in the area, now paving the way for stalled development projects to resume. Inaugurating the committee to oversee the fund, President Mahama said government wants Boko to recapture its former glory as a major commercial center in Ghana. He said improved security in the area now provides an opportunity to begin implementing the 1 billion Ghana cedis revitalization program. He said the fund will support infrastructure and other interventions considered necessary by the committee, with as many districts in the Boko area as possible expected to benefit.
For the Boko Revitalization Fund has been made, and it is 1 billion Ghana cedis. We want Boko to recapture its former glory as a major commercial center in Ghana. As a result of the conflict, we were not able to post national service people to the area. We were not able to post medical personnel to the area. Indeed, there were very important projects taking place there, like the Tamni Dam. One employee of the company was killed, and so the contractor had to pull out. And so that dam that will benefit 4 districts in Boko has come to a standstill. But I'm happy that now we have the opportunity to go back and continue the development so that the people of the area would benefit from all the projects that we've been doing, so that Boko will get its fair share of the national cake. It will go to
You had President John Dramani Mahama. Now, the Environmental Protection Authority (EPA) has launched a national campaign calling for an immediate phase-out of styrofoam and single-use plastics, citing severe urban flooding and environmental degradation. Speaking at the launch of the campaign at the Kumasi Kijitia Market ahead of the January 2027 ban, the Chief Executive Officer of the EPA, Professor Nana Ama-Kluche, urged Ghanaians to adopt eco-friendly alternatives to safeguard public health and infrastructure.
It's becoming too many. This is the time for all of us to agree and accept that we are at this point to take a decision to stop eating in the styrofoam packs, to stop sleeping on styrofoam mattresses, to stop packaging our products with the styrofoam materials. At the EPA, our major concern is the environment. And so we know also from our observation from studies that these styrofoam and by extension single-use plastics, after use, we are not able to dispose them properly. So they'll end up in our gutters, they'll end up in our streets. As we have heard it many times here, they block our gutters, choke our gutters, and when it rains, with just a little rain, we get our communities flooded. The major flooding we are seeing, as again you have heard, is because of the styrofoams and because of the single-use plastics. We want to bring all of this suffering.
You heard the CEO of the EPA, that's the Environmental Protection Authority, Professor Nana Ama-Kluche. The Mortuary Workers Association of Ghana has urged the public to respect mortuary workers and refrain from sharing unverified or sensationalized content about the operations. This appeal follows a recent incident in which a vlogger secretly recorded a mortuary attendant transporting a body to the mortuary at the Komfanochi Teaching Hospital and posted the footage online without context. The video, which was widely circulated on social media, sparked public backlash, insult, and condemnation directed at mortuary staff. Speaking to Class News, Ashanti Regional Chairman of the association, Ebenezer Toku Amankwa, said mortuary work is a critical profession which is a critical professional service that requires specialized expertise, dignity, and respect. He says the individual who recorded and published the video was later identified and invited to the association's office.
So many things are going on social media. First, they will just post something which they don't know anything about it. About a week ago, one of our colleagues went to ward, take body there, and he is convening to the mortuary. And unfortunately, one of bloggers, a fear media, just hide out and video. And what we seen, he just sent it to media, and people are insulting us. People are talking, and so many things happen. So we searched for that lady, and she came to our office. He apologized. So we forgive her. So right now, we want to tell the bloggers and the media people, if you don't know anything about March and you want to know something about March, you just come to our office. Come and ask us what we want to post. Don't just post anything we don't know, we don't believe, and we haven't seen. We just post it to disgrace our job.
So you had the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the Mortuary Workers Association of Ghana, Ebenezer Toku Amankwa. In African news, Uganda's military chief Muhoozi Kainerugaba has announced plans to run for president in 2031, signaling a possible bid to succeed his father, President Museveni. Kainerugaba, 52, said in a series of posts on X on Tuesday that he would seek Uganda's highest political office in the next presidential election. He also said he expected to win 90% of the vote with the support of his father. Kainerugaba has for years been viewed as a possible successor to Museveni. He has the Patriotic League of Uganda, a political pressure group. He had previously said he planned to contest the 2026 presidential election but later withdrew from the race. That's how we wrap up today's edition of the Class Breakfast News here on Class 91.3 FM, Whole FM 92.5 in the Volta region, Dagban FM 102.5 in Tamale, Radio 192.1 in the Upper West region, Radio Power 96 in Spain, and across the world on classfmonline.com. For more news, visit classfmonline.com. My name is Agyemang Prempeh. Good morning.